call the regular meeting of the Monrovia City Council to order this Tuesday, January 19th at a little after 7:30. We apologize for the delay start. We were in a closed session earlier, and we will convene the meeting this evening in the honor of, and this is always kind of the cool part of the job, is we get to convene a meeting in honor of a new Monrovian. And this just happens to be Desmond Mario. And Alice, you're going to have to help me with the pronunciation. Is it got an A?
Mario Godinez.
Godinez, okay.
Yes.
And born to Sarah, our very own Sarah Godinez, and her husband, Philip. And so there's little Desmond Mario. Welcome to Monrovia. We're glad you're joining us. So we thank you for that. And I don't have anyone doing our invocation this evening. Do we have someone else?
We asked Council Member Spicer, and he graciously accepted.
Okay, Mr. Spicer, would you offer us some words?
Okay. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking you for guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace, Lord God, as we make decisions. Continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Larry. We appreciate that very much. Our Pledge of Allegiance will be given by Councilmember Shevlin, and I will rise and hold a flag out for you, Becky.
Okay, yeah, if you could all rise if you
turn on
can.
my video first.
Yeah, and put yourself on mute. Put yourself on mute so we don't get a bunch of echoes. And put your hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Becky. And now I'm going to ask our master municipal clerk to call the roll.
Yes. Council members Credgington.
Here.
Shevlin.
Here.
Spicer.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Blackburn.
Well, actually, we just switched Mayor Pro Tem ships this evening. It is now Mayor Pro Tem Credgington, although I like your instincts.
You caught me.
To maintain me in the position.
All right, Council Member Blackburn.
Reluctantly, I acknowledge that title and say I'm present.
All right, and Mayor Adams.
And I am here as well. Thank you so much. Mr. Steele, do we have a report of closed session?
Yes, sir, Mr. Adams. Prior to the meeting this evening, the council met in closed session. There was one item on the posted agenda, and the council took no reportable action.
All righty. Thank you, sir. Our first presentation is the Pasadena Humane Society Pet of the Month, and our Assistant City Manager, Lauren Vasquez, will bring that report to us.
Thank you, Mr. Adams and council members. I am going to play a video from the Pasadena Humane Society, and I hope that the audio is going to work for me. So here we go.
Hey Monrovia, it's Michelle Holbrook here at Pasadena Humane, and today I got a special treat for you. I am joined by Polly, and Polly is a very special cat. So first, she came to us a couple of weeks ago. She was surrendered by her owner because she was part of a hoarding situation, and she came in with 3 of her siblings, and they have all since been adopted. But I'm confused as to why Polly wasn't the first one to go, because she is a polydactyl cat. Now you're probably wondering what in the world that means. So polydactyl cats have extra toes, and these cats were made famous back in the early 1900s by Ernest Hemingway. So Polly has extra toes, which means extra toe beans if you're a cat person, and that just means there's more of her to love. If you're interested in adopting Polly, you can visit us at our website at www.pasadenahumane.org, and you might find that there's someone else for you to love. And I invite you to join us for all of our virtual events. We've got yoga coming up with your dogs, and we'll also be talking about dental hygiene and why it's important in pets. Have a great evening. See you next month.
So hopefully we can find a home for Polly in Monrovia, and that concludes our report.
All right, Lauren, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Do we have our student government representative with us this evening?
Mayor Adams, unfortunately, she had a last-minute schedule conflict, so she won't be joining.
Okay, then we will move on to the consent calendar, and I'll entertain a motion on that.
Move for approval, Mayor.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any discussion on the consent calendar? Any objection? Alice, please call the roll.
Councilmember Blackburn,
Yes.
Shevlin,
Yes.
Spicer,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Crudgington,
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes, thank you. Okay, we're now into public input. This is probably the most important part of our meeting. This is where the people that we work for get to speak to us. So I'll ask our city clerk if we have any public input.
Okay, we do, and if you will forgive me, I forgot to bring my copies in, so let me just get to the website really quickly. Apologize for the delay. It is loading. Okay. First, we have our report from Sari Canales at the Monrovia Chamber of Commerce regarding Operation Save Our Restaurants. There are 20 participating restaurants. The Saltner, Senna on Myrtle, Cafe Mundial, Jake's Roadhouse, Bella Sera Trattoria, Cafe Deola, Iconics Burgers and Brew, The Monrovian, Basin 141, 38 Degrees, Ale House, Burger M, Goki Cafe, Dickie's Barbecue Pit, The Loose Teas, Poke Bar, Max's Mexican Cuisine, La Adelita, Merengue Bakery and Cafe, Cabrera's Mexican Cuisine, and Mooncat Ramen. And the comments posted online have links to all of those restaurants. Also, there's been news coverage recently by CBS 2, ABC 7, and KCAL 9, along with posters in Old Town, street banner in Foothill and Myrtle starting tomorrow, street banner at Huntington and Myrtle starting tomorrow, and she thanks community services staff and Tina Cherry. Then listing new members for January, there's Max Lee Music, Norm Wilson and Sons, Inc., Spectrum Business, Cabrera's Mexican Cuisine, Fully Functional Technology, Mooncat Ramen, and Caven Fard. So again, posted on the website is the flyer regarding that, goes through January 31st for Operation Save Our Restaurants. Our next comment is from Ms. Barbara Golar on behalf of Monrovia Duarte Black Alumni Association regarding the 2021 Black History Month. Attached to her comments are the planned activities open to the public, as well as activities with the library and the school district. And just briefly, those include the kickoff scholarship fundraiser on February 6th, 2021, Health and Wellness of African American Family on February 13th, Celebration of Family Life on February 27th, along with the Visual Art Festival with the school district, middle school family tree lesson, visual art lesson by Ron Husband, a Monrovia High School graduate and first Black animator at Disney. Monrovia Public Library has virtual story time featuring a book a week, virtual reader at all 5 elementary schools, and each month will feature 2 to 3 Black families in Monrovia and Duarte until December. And again, along with, actually it'll be added, is a flyer with more information, and they'll have Zoom details available on Friday, January 22nd. And then we have a comment from Melissa Taylor. Good evening, council members and Mayor Adams. I'm writing because I have concerns pertaining to community participation during city council meetings. By prohibiting residents from calling in during the council meetings, we are limiting community engagement. As a result, residents are required to send emails. Sometimes these emails are then paraphrased, and those watching council meetings are not aware of the entire message. If we allow citizens the opportunity to phone in their concerns, we could have more resident participation. Currently, LA City Council and the LA County Board of Supervisors allow residents to participate via phone. Both are much larger than Monrovia, and we should offer the same opportunity. I'm wondering if by not allowing this, are we in any violations of the Brown Act? And that's from Melissa Taylor. And that concludes the public comment that was received for this evening's meeting.
Thank you. We'll now move on to public hearings. And PH1 is the proposed 47th year of our CDBG program. And Alex Akopian, I think, is with us this evening. Alex, are you out there somewhere?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. So, okay. Hello, can you see me? Okay. Good evening, Mayor Adams and members of City Council. My name is Alex Akopian, and I will be presenting the CDBG program's annual allocation for fiscal year 2021 to 2022. So the Los Angeles County Development Authority, also known as LACTA, formerly known as the Community Development Commission, also known as the CDC, administers CDBG funding and oversees over 45 non-entitlement communities throughout the county, of which Monrovia is a participating city. Non-entitlement areas include units of general local government, which do not receive CDBG funds directly from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD, and are cities with a population of less than 50,000. As a participating non-entitlement city, the city of Monrovia is tentatively set to receive an estimated fiscal year 2021-2022 CDBG allocation of $214,370. This is $2,165, which is approximately 2% less than the city received in fiscal year 2020-2021. The mission of the CDBG program is to improve the quality of life for people of low to moderate incomes and aid in the prevention of neighborhood deterioration. With great direction of the City Council, CDBG has remained one of the most effective forms of federal assistance available to us. The LACTA requires a summary of projected use of our CDBG annual allocation by February 1st, 2021. Staff is recommending a continuance of the basic programs previously funded, which is the Code Enforcement Program and the Residential Rehabilitation Program. And the first program previously funded is Code Enforcement. We are tentatively set to receive $182,215. This budget provides partial funding for code enforcement staff, whose purpose is to eliminate substandard housing conditions and ensure conformance with city zoning, building, and property maintenance codes. Code enforcement also continues to work closely with the Community Policing Bureau when criminal and blight issues are present, and with the Monrovia Area Partnership as part of the blight eradication process. The second program is the Residential Rehabilitation Program. We are tentatively set to receive $32,155. The Residential Rehabilitation Grant provides assistance to families with low to moderate income to help provide free home repairs and code corrections for those who cannot afford to make them. This budget would provide 2 to 3 grants throughout this fiscal year. As an example of a recent completed residential rehabilitation project, here is a before and after picture on the right, where you can see improvements of paint, new windows, and improvements made to the house's eaves. In the end, our property owners were grateful for this program and the overall outcome of their home. CDBG programs are crucial to cities' overall neighborhood improvement strategy. The use of CDBG funds has no negative impact on the city's general fund. Additional modifications to this budget may be made during the city's own fiscal year 2021-2022 budget planning process. Staff has provided two options for the City Council to consider. Option 1 is approve the estimated fiscal year 2021-2022 Community Development Block Grant allocation, accept staff's recommendation to use it for the continuance of the basic programs that the City Council has funded in previous years. And option 2 is reject the estimated fiscal year 2021-2022 Community Development Block Grant allocation, direct staff to explore alternative funding methods to fund for these existing programs. This option would result in the city forfeiting the fiscal year 2021-2022 CDBG funds. Staff is recommending option 1, which is to approve the estimated fiscal year 2021-2022 Community Development Block Grant allocation. This concludes my report. I would be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Any questions for Alex?
No, but I have a question for Dylan. Dylan, when do you think we'll be able to pick up the other code enforcement officer that we lost?
We have a recruitment that's ready to start. I believe it's this week. So we wanted to finalize some scheduling adjustments, just so the council is aware. One discussion we've had for some time is making sure that with some of the recent retirements, is we're bringing new people on board to make sure and provide a 7-day-a-week code enforcement program. We want to make sure that we're able to get to the weekend enforcement in a similar fashion as we get to the weekday enforcement. But we expect that recruitment to begin this week. And it'll be available for a couple weeks. And then again, we're going to move pretty quickly through, we want to move as fast as we can through the hiring process and hopefully get someone on board as quickly as we can.
Thank you very much, sir.
Any other questions of staff? This is a public hearing. I will open the public hearing and ask our city clerk if we have any comments from the public.
No, Mayor Adams, we did not receive any public comments.
Okay, having no public comment, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Oh,
It's moved and seconded to adopt resolution 2021-04. Is there any comments or questions regarding the motion? Alice, please call the roll.
Council members Blackburn,
Yes.
Shevlin,
Yes.
Spicer,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Crudgington,
yes.
and Mayor Adams.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Alex. That was a great report. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Have a
Thanks,
good night.
Alex.
Okay, we'll now move on to reports of city manager and staff and our city council directives. Mr. Feek, welcome back.
Yes, thank you. Just a couple brief updates. Public Works Department gave me an update today. They actually had a meeting with one of our local vendors who provides electric vehicle charging stations. We're really excited because we think we've got a local company who is, as I mentioned before, is designing these, but also has some incredibly cost-effective ways to do it that really help us stretch our dollars and be able to get more electric charging stations installed. So we're going to start looking at potential sites on public parking lots, and then additional sites that we can really begin adding some electric charging stations. We've been very fortunate to see a flurry of funding sources start coming our way from the state, from AQMD, from various other sources where I'm not worried about how we're going to fund these. So we're focusing more on the plan on where we'd put them, and we'll bring that to council for your consideration. One item I just want to brief council on is related to the COVID vaccinations. A lot of people are calling into the city to ask what's going on, when are we going to get vaccinated? Really wish we had a lot more information than most people. Unfortunately, that's not necessarily the case. Back about the week before Christmas, we started providing vaccines to our emergency responders, to police and to fire. And the rollout has been happening much slower than anyone has anticipated. This is a nationwide problem that we're all seeing in the news. In the last week, the state and even the county have come out with new guidance on how to do vaccines. They're recommending now to provide vaccines to persons age 65 and older. The last couple days, the county health department said it would continue vaccinating healthcare workers first because they did not have enough vaccines available for those 65 and older. However, the county Board of Supervisors issued their own executive order to immediately begin distributing to those 65 and older. So the county announced some new rules, and they're beginning to set up these mega sites where they can do large-scale vaccinations to the general public. The challenge is they don't have enough vaccines for the people in any particular category. And so everyone is kind of waiting for more vaccine doses to come down the pipeline from the federal government to the state and then on to the county and then get distributed and then administered. So there's a lot of hiccups in the process right now, and even we are waiting on standby of when we can vaccinate, city employees, when we can help vaccinate, maybe the general public, other, groups like a school district or retail workers, whatever the category is, those 65 and older, there's just not much information right now at this point, but we do know that there's clearly far fewer vaccines than people who want them. So I think everyone is hoping that a mass influx of vaccinations come down the pipeline very soon, and then they are able to be administered much more quickly and broadly to the general public. So we'll continue to provide updates through City Manager's Update. I'll provide updates to City Council as I have them, but I just wanted to take a moment to share with you the little bit of information that we do have and answer any questions you might have.
Dylan and I had a few conversations about this afternoon, and just so you don't think that we get some kind of special treatment, oh my goodness gracious, when Hilda Solis, Supervisor Hilda Solis went live today with her news or press release, whatever, everybody, I guess, and his brother started calling the county site. The problem is I was on hold for 1 hour and 44 minutes, at which time I gave up. I inserted my number so I could get a call back. And at the end of it said, you will get a call back from the first possible operator. And then it says, there's been a problem. And then it went dead. I went on the Pomona site. It said that there were appointments available, but every time I tried to get one, it said all of them were taken. So it is a very frustrating process, and we have reported those frustrations to our local representatives. But Dr. Farrar also said today that it was almost like on a week-to-week basis. And right now they're dealing with 50,000 doses of the vaccine. That's all they have. They said they wouldn't have more appointments than they do vaccines. And so it sounds like it's kind of like on a week-to-week basis. But there is a phone number out there that they're publishing, but be prepared for a long wait, or maybe hopefully someday a call back. But
And it's not unique to LA County. I mean, within the state of California,
right,
only 1/3 of the vaccines that have landed in California have been given to people. So there's something that's not working, and hopefully someone will figure it out.
Long Beach apparently has gotten a little bit better ahead of the game. I know that they are administering vaccines to their residents, and I know people that live in Long Beach who have gotten their vaccines.
Dylan, Pastor Bill wanted the city to know that if and when you're able to start vaccinating people in Monrovia, if you need his parking lot, it's available.
Great.
Wonderful.
Just to let you know.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate you passing that on, Larry.
That was very generous of Pastor Bell.
Yeah, we've been very convinced that, if given a chance, if we needed to step up, if we could get vaccines, that we could certainly help and do our part. So I appreciate that. If you could pass along my deep appreciation, and we'll continue to work with the community. Brad, our fire chief, Brad Dover, has been doing a great job keeping us very well informed of what's going on. And so we'll continue to pay close attention and hopefully get more positive news coming soon. The last two items I have just for an update is the ad hoc committee on equity and inclusion has been meeting regularly. They've been doing a fantastic job. They always like to say thanks to the council members who've been able to participate and listen on the meetings. They provided a progress report, just another update on the meetings they've held. They did choose to hold their specific recommendations. They want to release everything in total at the very end of all of their review of each one of the departments. But just needless to say, they've been spending a lot of time reading, researching, and doing a lot of work. And the recommendations they provided so far, I'm really excited about. It certainly ways that the city can do things a little bit differently, but I think for the better. And so I've been very grateful to be part of that process. The last item is on council's agenda tonight on consent calendar 6, which was about the mud and debris flow mitigation. I just want to be I want to be clear about how these mitigation projects are going to be paid for. Because it can get really convoluted, and rather than just bore you with all the different terminology, I'll just briefly explain here. Immediately after the fire, we submitted a claim to FEMA, and subsequently we submitted a claim to our insurance. We also submitted a claim to Cal OES, a state claim, and we also started talking with the National Resource Conservation Service, NRCS, which is a different federal agency than FEMA. So we have the potential for these 4 different claims processes as we go through a post-fire debris removal, cleanup, restoration effort. The insurance claim is going to cover damages to buildings, facilities, smoke damage, and so that'll all be covered through just a typical insurance policy. The FEMA claim is going to cover the immediate emergency protective measures that all happened basically between September 6th and actually it'll be September 13th. September 13th and through November 17th approximately. That's the fire response, I'll call it. Everything else, so debris flow, cleanup, restoration, the K-rail placement is going to be covered by either FEMA or Cal OES. And if we want, we can pursue a claim through NRCS, but it's going to be covered through FEMA or Cal OES, the state. The state has already accepted the claims, saying we'll pay 75% of the cost. It's going to be easier to deal with state government than a separate federal agency, less paperwork, less time. But the action for you tonight, if you read on the staff report, it doesn't specifically say exactly how the city is going to be reimbursed, because as we formalize those agreements, as we work with the city attorney, generally speaking, 75% of all the costs we incur, at least 75%, are going to be covered by the state or federal government. And any match is going to be a required match either by state statute or by some kind of congressional law that says the city's contribution is this much. So I just want to make you aware of that. Special thanks to Sean, his Public Works team, but also many others, Buffy and her team, to process the post-fire cleanup is very cumbersome, very time-consuming. There's a lot of extra work to make sure we're documenting appropriately. And the claim is certainly going to be in the millions of dollars for all the damage and costs incurred. So I'm just very proud of the work that staff's doing. And certainly if anyone ever has questions about how this works, about how the claims works, or want to know what the costs are today, feel free to reach out anytime and we'll make sure and share that information. That's my update this evening. Thank you very much. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Dylan, one thing that we did talk about during the week, and I don't know if you're going to be able to address this in your upcoming update, but we had been notified this last week that the Foothill Unity Center will not, at least for this year, they are not going to be able to do tax preparation assistance, which they have done for many years. And it came to our attention because someone called me and said that they had been referred to the Community Services Department. which that was a surprise to us. But we want to work with the Foothill Unity Center in any way we can to make referrals to people. And I didn't know if you were able to make any headway on that, Dylan.
Yes, so what we're going to be doing in this week's city manager update is providing information. I had reached out to the chamber to ask for some of our local tax preparers that we can include that information as well. But due to COVID, Foothill Unity Center is not providing tax preparation services. The city never has, so someone was erroneously pointed in our direction as a resource. The county, however, does have a program for residents countywide who are low income, who I think $50,000 and less. They provide free tax preparation services. So in this week's manager's update, we'll share that information to make sure and get that resource out there.
And bless our library staff. I know that this resident had reached out also to our library staff, and they did provide some resources, but they were outside of the area, and he was looking for something a little more local. But I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that the city itself is not going to be providing that service, and it's unfortunate given the times that the Foothill Unity Center cannot, because I know it has provided a great service for many people.
Any other questions of Dylan? Okay, we'll move on to reports of city council members, and we'll start with Councilmember Shevlin.
Thank you very much. Under my report or agendas there on the agenda, I have two matters that I wanted to bring to the attention of council. One item, which is RCC, it's a consent calendar item that's on the governing board or the COG governing board agenda this Thursday. And that really is our 2021 legislative agenda. It's rather robust. It was included in your agenda packet, and it highlights each of our areas of under each state, federal, and local responses in water, transportation, homelessness, environmental, energy, and natural resources. We do have a legislative representative or analyst, Paul Hubler, and then also a lobbyist, Tim Egan, that assists us. And the executive board has already had a couple of meetings, special meetings regarding specifically some homeless and housing issues, and talking to Susan Rubio and others, but we're really trying to keep our communication channels open during this time. But I wanted to let you know or get direction. I'm assuming unless there's some objection, I will be voting yes on that item. It will be a part of the consent calendar.
Is everyone comfortable with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey,
Thank you.
great. The second item is the San Gabriel Valley Council of Government white paper on LAHSA, Los Angeles Housing Services, EGADS. Each time I forget the total acronym on LAHSA, Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority. At any rate, they're going through a lot of changes. Their director, Phil Ansel, is leaving in March. There have been a lot of difficulties, especially also too in COVID, with the lines of communication. It just hasn't been working out very well. I think City Council and our city can see that we as a city have been able, with monies that have been come through the COG through various funding sources, we have been able to put our dollars to good use. LAHSA in the county has some real difficulty with doing that. And in the background on the information that was in your agenda packet, in response to countywide homelessness crisis and challenges within the current homelessness services system, the LA County Board of Supervisors themselves approved a motion on September 1st, 2020, seeking to explore changes to the structure and function of Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority LAHSA and highlighting the need to examination the system as a whole. Well, this white paper puts forth that identifies issues and solutions. The white paper is organized around the following discussion topics: exploring the causes and impacts of systemic problems with current homelessness response systems, especially as they relate to smaller cities, identifying comprehensive solutions, and confirming the San Gabriel Valley's commitment to best practices and programs to affirm a willingness to lead the region to a more effective countywide coordinated strategy to combat homelessness. On the group that got together for this, to put this white paper together, they engaged its 30-member cities and formed a working group of representatives from 11 cities: Arcadia, Baldwin Park, Claremont, Duarte, Glendora, Montebello, Monterey Park, Pomona, San Dimas, South El Monte, and South Pasadena. Stakeholders included city managers, assistant city managers, directors of community, neighborhood, human services, public safety outreach coordinators, and police chiefs. And there was, this paper was put together during a 3-month period of September to November. At any rate, I could go on and on, which I'm sure you don't want to hear me babble about it, but assuming that this is an agenda item, action item for Thursday, assuming that we do approve this white paper, the next steps following adoption by the governing board, the white paper will be distributed to individual member cities and other councils of governments for their own review and possible adoption. Simultaneously, the COG will conduct other outreach efforts, including direct outreach to county supervisors, LAHSA, the public, and Measure H Citizens Oversight Committee outreach to the county supervisors. And they've already, I talked to Marissa Creeder, the director, today, and they have already sent out ahead of this agenda item to give them a heads up that this will be coming forward at the COG meeting on Thursday. And we just really need an overhaul of that, of LAHSA and the delivery of services, period, and lines of communication. So that will be an agenda item, and I want your blessings and direction that I may vote in favor of this white paper.
Any objection?
As a matter of fact, I thought it was excellent in the points referring to small cities and how we're different than LA.
Right. And we have shown, we've shown that we can get the job done. And so there's also a push too of having less planning. I mean, it's always good to plan, but we have invested so many dollars in planning that we need to get monies out there. And that's also a part of legislation too. We need to get to the point where we're actually doing things. We still haven't heard yet. It's any day, and it's on the positive. I can say I feel strongly that it's going to be positive that the recent group of projects put in for funding through the Housing Trust is going to be approved. So we're very excited about that. So the San Gabriel Valley COG can get things done. So I'm very excited about that.
Well, one thing's for certain, it's not working.
Right,
So,
right.
When you look at the hundreds of millions of dollars that LA County and the state of California have received for homeless funding, it's not working.
Right.
So I welcome this change, and I don't hear any objection to you voting affirmative for that. So there you have it. Anything else, Becky?
No, we've got a very important opportunity on Saturday to all participate in MAP. So I hope more people can come out for that. And it is a Zoom meeting. You can get information on that on our website. It is this Saturday, the 23rd. Larry, is that at 11 a.m., I do believe? 11 to 1.
I refuse to give you the time. You took my report.
Okay. All right. Well, I really encourage everyone to
It's 11
participate.
o'clock.
Yeah, it gives everybody a great opportunity to participate in what's going on and learn more about our police department, our staff, and just what's going on in the city. So, and as well as, please subscribe to the city manager's update. It gets spread around, but hey, get it directly into your inbox. So subscribe to the city manager's update. And that is it.
Okay,
you.
thank you so much. Mrs. Crudgington.
Thank you. Lots happening in the water world. We're hard at work to get money for us. And that's my report.
Thank you so much. Mr. Blackburn.
Oh, I have no report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Spicer.
I also don't have a report
I took it.
because, but it's all good.
Because that's okay.
It's all
So I'll be brief. This evening, the council met prior to this meeting in what traditionally has been somewhat of a reorganization of the council assignments. It's not just 2 meetings a month. There's a lot of other things that each one of the 5 of us do. So that is all changed. We did elect Mrs. Crudgington as our next mayor pro tem. So you will see that change on the next agenda. And as soon as we get all of our assignments squared away, you will see that posted on the city website so that you can look for any one of the 5 of us on any particular area of the city that you are interested in. We can most certainly help you. So thank you for that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tom. Can I add one comment to Alice?
Sure.
I still have my council pins, Mayor Pro Tem, from the last round. So save the money for the city and don't order me new ones. Thank you.
Okay.
Tom.
Yes.
I meant to ask under my report or earlier when Dylan was talking, during the public comment, Ms. Taylor had brought up or questioned the legality of our not allowing the telephoning in or what our format for public comment. And can we get a comment on that so that everyone knows that we are acting legally?
You know, I'm 100% certain we are.
Well, yeah, I just
Well,
want.
please
yeah.
let me finish my statement.
Okay.
Or someone would have filed a complaint against us already. But Mr. Steele, are we handling our meetings in any violation of state law?
No, we're not violating state law. We're compliant with the Brown Act, and we're compliant with with Governor Newsom's executive order, and following the same procedure that many public agencies are following.
All righty. Thank you, sir. Okay, we will move on. And our next regularly scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, February 2nd. But we're going to be closing our meeting this evening in the memory of a lot of people that we've lost. And as I always ask, if you will keep them and their families in your thoughts and prayers. I know the families will very much appreciate this. But we've lost Tommy Ross and Michelle Ross, and the father and mother-in-law of Police Chaplain Terrence Brown. And frequently, Chaplain Brown is the man who gives the invocation at our meetings. He's a great guy, and if you'll keep him and his family in your thoughts and prayers, I know he will appreciate that. Vicenta Alvarez, mother of Rudy Alvarez. Robert Mahler, father-in-law of Police Department Dispatcher Aaron Mahler. Antonia De La Torre, mother of Parking Enforcement Officer Rosa De La Torre. Fred Bourne, longtime resident in Monrovia and cousin of Pastor Bourne from Second Baptist Church. And last but certainly not least is Betty Sanford, a name that's been around Monrovia for a long time, a resident, humanitarian, community advocate, school board member. I can't possibly list all of the things that Betty Sanford did over the years in Monrovia, but I can tell you that everything she did was for the betterment of Monrovia. It's so sad for us to close our meeting this evening in memory of 6 individuals. But if you will keep their families in your thoughts and prayers, I know they will very much appreciate that, and they will be sorely missed. And on that note, we will adjourn this evening, and we will look forward to seeing you on February 2nd. Thank you all for being here this evening.